Welcome to this video. I have been wanting to film this for a long time, but you know, sometimes life just happens, and yeah, here we are now filming, so let's get started. I split this video up into 3 parts. That way...
Hey baby!
Hi!
Guess who's done?
So I did a little Q&A on my Insta stories last week, and I have some of the questions that you guys asked, so I think I'll just answer them throughout the video. So listen carefully for your question. If you are watching this and you're engaged, congratulations. I'm so excited for you. This is such a special time. Really just soak it in and remember that it's gonna go by really fast. It might seem like a long ways away before the wedding, but trust me, it flies. If you're not engaged and you're watching this, you're just like me. I used to watch videos like this all the time because it's just exciting to think about the big day. Let's start with number 1, make lists. Lists are going to be your lifesaver. I dedicated this book to be my wedding planner. There's also so many other wedding planners you can get. I had another one that I used that I love, but this one is like my scrapbook. The whole thing is just filled with random things. Your head sometimes can just get so full of all these little details that you just need to like write them down. Honestly, it's gonna save you a huge headache. The more I say the word lists, it's actually getting really hard to say. Lists. There's so many S's. On the topic of lists, one way that's going to help you save money is to make a priority list. If you want to go all out for your wedding, it's inevitably going to cost more, but if you want to do a DIY, like minimalistic wedding, you have to make a priority list and choose what you're willing to spend the most amount of money on and what you're willing to either cut out or spend the least amount of money on. So that's what Quinton and I did, and we'll go into one of the first questions that I was asked, which was, what was your budget? Only if you want to say. I mean, we budgeted for as little as possible, but the amount we ended up spending was somewhere between $7,000 to $7,500, which, I mean, feeding 100 people, decorations, dresses, outfits, all that stuff, it was pretty good. For Quinton and I, our top priority was photography, and we had an amazing photographer. Jenny Nemeti is an amazing wedding photographer. She is so sweet and personable and accommodating, so I highly recommend looking her up. You can find her on Wedding Wire or her Instagram, Jenny Nemeti Photo. When you're in the early stages of planning, it's so much fun to go on Pinterest and make a whole bunch of Pinterest boards of ideas, and I really recommend doing that. The only thing is, Pinterest weddings are going to be expensive. So you really have to look at that picture that you see and choose what out of that you really want to incorporate into your wedding, because if you try to do everything, it's just going to raise your costs. So if we're trying to have a low budget wedding, again, pick what is most important to you and then just cut the rest, or find a very cheap version of the rest of that. Since we're on the topic of budget, I got a whole lot of questions about food, because everybody knows that usually raises the cost from, you know, here, like we're doing good, and then after you pay for the food, you're like up here. So going into the Q&A, how did you keep food and drink costs down? Food can be really expensive, but it really depends on what meal you want to serve at your wedding. We got married at a time when we were able to have 100 people outside to serve. Therefore, our food cost was already cut down a little bit because we couldn't have our whole guest list that we originally would have liked to have. Because we had less guests, we inevitably had to pay less for the food. But one way to do it is to not have an all-out like steak and potatoes and salad and like 3-course meal. As much as that is amazing and it would have been great, in reality that's not going to be the one thing that you remember out of the whole day. As long as you feed everybody, it tastes generally good, people are going to be happy, and you're not even going to remember it at the end of the day. I'm trying to remember what the name of the people we went with was, and I can't remember. It was some like... I can't remember. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen right here. The food was so good, but it was not that expensive. Just to be flat out, we spent about $2,100 on food altogether that served 100 people. So that makes it about $21 a plate, which realistically is not that bad. If you were to go to like some big wedding venues, it's gonna be a lot more than that. So if you get outside catering brought to you, it's going to save you a lot of money, and the food is still great. Another way to cut the cost down is to not get a wedding planner. Now, wedding planners are great, and I'm sure they are so helpful, but if you're trying to do a wedding on a budget, you have your family, you have your fiance's family, you have your bridesmaids, your groomsmen. There are plenty of people that are going to be able to help you out. Although this can sound really stressful, it's doable, I promise you. I'm not dissing wedding planners at all. I think that they're so helpful. Just if you're trying to have a low budget wedding and you're having less people, it works out pretty well to do it on your own. Let's move on to number 2. Find connections. Having connections is going to save your life. You know that saying, it's a small world because this person knows this person or this person knows that person. Honestly, that is going to be your savior. I didn't realize how many connections we had until we started asking around, and we had somebody able to help us with almost every area of our wedding. Another thing is Facebook Marketplace. We didn't use it for ours because we found everything we needed, but there are plenty of things on Facebook Marketplace that people don't need after their wedding, so I'm sure you can find some amazing things on there. Always look secondhand first, and then if you can't find it, ask around and then look at other places. And remember, you're not alone. Don't take everything on yourself. One thing that really helped Quinton and I is to write down every name of our groomsmen and our bridesmaids and give them a specific job to take on, so that was something off of our shoulders and it was just one thing that they could get done. It just made it so easy, and that's another reason why you can do it on your own, because you have help. One of my best friends got married 3 years ago, and one of the tips that she gave me was, when you're looking for a wedding dress, look at white bridesmaid dresses, because there actually are a lot of really pretty bridesmaid dresses that could work as a wedding dress if you just order it in white, and that's gonna save you a huge amount of money. I didn't do that personally because I just happened to find a dress that was a pretty good price, but if you're looking for dresses and you want to start there, that can be a great way to save a huge cost of money as well. I also got a bunch of questions about flowers and decor, and so I'm just going to answer them here. One of them was, did you hire a florist or did you buy flowers and arrange them yourself? We did not hire a florist. Actually, this goes along with the other question. Best place to get fake flowers and leaves for decor. So we went to Michael's craft store, or whatever it's called. We got most of our flowers and garlands from Michael's, and I have some of them here. So this was my bouquet. It's actually really big. I kind of think I could have made it a little bit smaller, but it was my special day, so we went big. I just got a whole bunch of different bouquets that had like a similar color theme that I liked, brought them home, cut them up. My sister and I put it together so many different times until I liked the way that it looked. I probably made about 10 trips to Michael's every time I decided, oh, I want another one of these green things, and I'm pretty sure they probably recognized me by the end of it. So this was my bouquet, and this was one of the bridesmaid bouquets, and I thought they were so beautiful because our bridesmaid dresses were this sage green color, and so that's the color of some of these leaves and stuff in here. I know fake flowers don't sound quite appealing at first thought, but it grows on you, trust me. This was something that was so nice to do ahead of time because it was done. I didn't have to worry about it. They were just ready for the big day, and they were actually a lot of fun to make. It was kind of therapeutic putting them all together, and it was fun. I recommend doing the fake flowers. It was a whole lot cheaper. We probably spent approximately $300 on flowers, whereas if you were to go to a real florist, it would be a lot more than that. And I mean, I bet they'll still be beautiful, and I think florists are amazing, but this was something easy that I was able to do on my own with the help of my family and bridesmaids. We had so much fun with them because we could throw them around during the day. We didn't have to worry about them wilting for pictures when it was really hot, and they're fake, but they don't look that fake, you know? Like, they're not that bad. We also got this twine from Michaels and this ribbon, and we put hot glue on the bottom of the flowers that we cut so that the pokey parts wouldn't scratch up our dresses. Just play around with it. There are so many ways that you can DIY literally everything. One of the best parts about DIYing things is you can look back and just be so proud that like you made that. Like you had the idea, you made it happen, and it's honestly so fun to be there on your wedding day and look at all your decor and all the people there and just think that you made this come to life. Also, the altar, we made the altar. It was super cheap. I think it was maybe $70 or something like that for the pieces of wood, the nails, and then we just got a stain color that we liked, stained the wood, built the altar where we wanted it, and easy peasy, it was done. My third point was to find your creative side, which is kind of tied into what I was just talking about. But honestly, like, saving money on your wedding comes down to not being afraid to just ask around, put it out there to everyone you know, and get creative. I also just wanted to mention that it's so important to remember that this day is about you and your future husband and the parents. In the end, no one's gonna remember those tiny details that you're stressing over forever and ever. Again, make a list and pick what is most important to you. Make that a priority, work really hard on that, and that's what you're gonna remember. Obviously, this is cliche, but it's not just about that day, it's about every day after that, and just try to remind yourself of that, because as special as it is, it's really important to put the emphasis on your life together afterwards. So if you spend so much time and money on this one day, yes, it's special and you want it to be perfect, but you know, the little things that go wrong, it's actually fun to look back and talk about, oh, like, remember how this happened, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that. It's your day, no matter what happens, no matter what food you have, no matter who's there, it's gonna be memorable and you're gonna love it because that's the day that you got married to your best friend and love of your life. Before I end this, I just wanna recap some of the main points for you to remember on your way out. Go to the thrift store, ask around, go to the craft store, go to a woodsy store, look at Facebook Marketplace. Get help from your family, your fiance's family, and your bridesmaids and groomsmen. Ask for specific gifts at your wedding showers that are going to help you for your big day. Pick a meal that you like, but not a super expensive one. Have a venue outside. Outside is free. And the biggest thing to remember of all time, make lists. Make so many lists. I really hope that this was helpful to you in some way. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask, put a comment down below, or send me a DM. It is very, very possible to have a wedding under $10,000. We've done it. It was beautiful. I don't regret a single thing. I loved every second of it. Just remember to take a deep breath and just soak in every moment. Thank you so much for watching today, and I really hope that you have a great and blessed day, and we'll see you next time.